Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever thought about how a single place, just one landscape, can be both stunningly beautiful naturally, but also deeply spiritual,
Right.
and how those two things actually feed each other?
Exactly.
Today, we're diving deep into Sundarijal. Our sources are calling it a real confluence of nature and faith.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission really is to figure out how this one spot, just northeast of Kathmandu, manages to embody both things so strongly. It might even give us a sort of blueprint, for how we relate to the environment.
And what's fascinating here, what really jumps out, is that it's not just like nature over here and faith over there existing side by side.
Definitely.
It's this active, living intertwining. You'll see how the land itself sort of becomes the altar, and faith, it almost becomes a kind of ecological stewardship.
That's a really powerful way to put it, an altar and stewardship. Okay. So let's start with the basics, the natural beauty, the allure of Sundarijal itself.
Yeah.
The material we looked at, it pinpoints the location, like I said, northeast of Kathmandu. Crucially, it's a gateway to the Shivapuri National Park.
Uh-huh.
It's described as, quote, rich in natural beauty, which, okay, you can imagine. But the notes highlight something specific.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's pull, it's special attractiveness during the rainy season. It's not just, green. It's described with these captivating waterfalls appearing, a really vibrant, almost liquid landscape.
You know, that detail about the rainy season, it's quite telling, isn't it?
How so?
Well, it shows that the cycles of nature, they aren't just background scenery. They actually enhance the whole experience of the place.
Ah,
And its connection to the Shivapuri National Park that's critical too. It tells you this isn't just some pretty spot.
right.
It's a protected area, a biodiversity hotspot.
Mm.
So that park status, it helps ensure that the lushness, those waterfalls the source mentions, are preserved. Hence at this sort of systemic protection that works alongside maybe the local reverence we'll get into.
Yeah, that makes sense. The official protection and the local feeling working together. So imagine you're there experiencing this lushness, these waterfalls, especially right after the rains.
Mm-hmm.
It's this incredibly alive, natural setting. And from there, we find its spiritual core, the Sundarimai Temple.
Right.
Now, our source is clear. It's dedicated to goddess Parvati. But here's where it gets, I think, really insightful.
Okay.
Locals don't just worship Parvati at Sundarijal. They actually see her as, and this is the quote, the protector of the forest in Sundarijal.
And this, I think, is where the deep dive really gets interesting.
Mm.
Because when a community sees a deity as the protector of their natural world, where it changes the whole relationship, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
It moves beyond just, respecting nature.
Yeah.
It actively sort of encodes environmental care right into their spiritual life.
Encodes it. Oh,
Yeah. It suggests that looking after the forest, the waters there in Sundarijal, it isn't just like a civic thing or following some environmental rule.
Mhm.
It actually becomes an act of devotion, part of their faith. This belief system, it's not just symbolic talk. It likely fosters a real shared responsibility for the ecosystem.
Wow. So it's not just a beautiful place where people happen to worship.
Exactly.
The worship itself reinforces protecting the beauty. And you can see this connection playing out, right? In the rituals, the festivals, they seem to weave nature and faith together.
Mm-hmm.
The material brings up specific festivals, Tej, which is a big one for women's well-being, and Dashain, Nepal's largest Hindu festival.
Right. Very important festivals.
And during these times, people go to Sundarijal not just to pray at the temple, but also for sacred bathing in the holy waters there.
Yes. And what's really striking about that is how these festivals, these actions, aren't just sort of isolated religious duties.
Yeah.
They are a living demonstration of how spiritual life and the natural world are tangled up together. They're using the actual water, the actual landscape of Sundarijal as part of the ritual.
So the bathing, the visiting.
It all becomes this physical expression of that core belief we were talking about, that protecting this place is part of your spiritual duty. It's like this ongoing, active conversation between the people, their beliefs, and the land itself.
So what does this all mean then? When a community's faith is so fundamentally rooted in the landscape around them, it changes everything.
It seems to.
Sundarijal isn't just a pretty spot anymore. It feels like a vibrant example where the natural beauty, maybe some history we haven't even touched on, and these deep spiritual traditions, they don't just sit next to each other. They actively nourish one another.
Absolutely. It's a dynamic relationship. And that leaves us with something interesting to ponder, doesn't it?
Yeah. What's that?
Well, if we look at Sundarijal as a place where nature is actively revered and maybe even protected through faith,
Mhm.
What could that suggest about conservation efforts elsewhere? Especially, globally, in places where culture and spiritual beliefs are deeply tied to the environment. Could these local, maybe indigenous belief systems offer a different kind of pathway? A really powerful one, perhaps, for ecological preservation that maybe goes beyond just laws and regulations.
That is a really thought-provoking question. Could faith be a key conservation tool? It definitely leaves us with a much deeper appreciation for how what we believe can shape and maybe even help secure our relationship with the natural world.